It'd be a shame if I had to kill you if you said anything.
I told you about killing people, dude.
I want to find out what's underneath that mask.
I'm not wearing a mask. I have fur.
Hello, Guilders, and welcome back to Tales of the Riot Nexus. I'm Tim the Wizard, and we're going to go ahead and just dive right on back in. So, night happens, or as best it can, in the Astral Sea, and the majority of the party, save for Lux, head off to their rooms. Lux, we'll go ahead and start with you. You are piloting the ship when, out of nowhere, like heading on a dead set course towards this outpost that you have been directed towards. You, at this point, it is unavoidable that for you to have noticed that location is the field of a heavy distortion in the map. What does Lux think about that?
A heavy distortion? Like it's... How does it appear and how does it feel?
Sure. As it feels, it's interesting because it reminds you of another kind of distorted field in the centralized on the Founder's Ward of Respite. Looking at it through Helm's vision, it feels like almost like the map itself is being distorted or being twisted and pulled or being bent in a direction, kind of like downward, almost as if it's being pulled taut. And you see that as you are approaching it, and moving away from this old spot that is kind of that level of distortion, you see that it is similar in nature to that.
Okay.
And it feels like, on like a feeling level, it almost feels like it is pulling you in, like it is like dragging you in, and this is go in and make me an insight check.
Okay. Oh.
8.
Hey, can Itzel help me?
Because you are locked in with Helm right now, I'm gonna say, and this is happening in his interface. Like Itzel is not; they're not aware of what's going on really right now.
Okay, so I just got an 8 then, right?
So with
It's
the 8,
taking a nap.
Itzel looks up from sleep, and then goes back to sleep as
It'll help.
It'll help.
God damn it! Okay, keep going.
It'll help.
You can't tell whether or not this is your desire to get to this location, your desire to fulfill the mission, or whether or not this is a desire from Helm. You feel you're almost like those feelings are intermingled as you feel this pull, almost like being drawn into this spatial fold, right? Like on the map. You almost as if you want to go there.
Oh.
Ooh.
Lex is gonna say, Helm, is that you or me?
You can feel that as well. That dragging.
Yeah, I can't tell.
I am unsure. It's definitely I felt this before when we were back at Respite, the Founder's Ward, when I was in that docking bay. It was especially strong then, the dragging sensation. It's similar to that now here. And I remember greatly wanting to find the source of that dragging in Respite. And he falls silent.
Oh. And go on.
It's the same. I wish to dive in.
Do you think it's related to the black hole at all?
It's hard to say at this point. This is traveling by the black hole. Maybe. You get like a non-vocalized shrug.
Well, we're just gonna have to be careful then. I don't necessarily want you getting mixed up with where we're going.
If it is required for me to keep the Nexus safe, then that is where we must go. And in that moment, you hear a tink, tink, tink on the window glass.
On the window glass?
Mm-hmm. And do you focus your attention to that spot?
Yes.
You see a little, like, folded up almost piece of glass.
A folded up piece of glass?
And Lux, you immediately recognize this as a calling card, one that your friend has developed, a member of the Knights Accord, who goes by the name of Sin. It is like a small little translucent shining triangle tapping politely on the glass.
Can I see if she's around? Like, can I try to look around the
cabin?
Like, use helm to look around the...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sorry. Yeah, absolutely. You use Helm's vision, his greater senses, to like expand your own vision outward. And you do not detect any other life forms out here other than the ones that you expect.
Helm, I hate to do this, but I need you to stay silent. Someone is here. She's gonna check and see if there's any other vessels in the area, any other telling signs of, like, I don't know, illusioned, invisible ships.
Sure, go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay. 16.
16, again, looking out using Helm's greater sensory apparatus than your own vision. You do see that this wave of sense pushes out, but you do not see any hidden ships. This wave pings past the edge of respite. You see all the regular things that you had expected, but you do not see any hidden or cloaked vessels.
Ugh. Do I know, like, what would have allowed her to do this?
Sure. Go ahead and make me a history check at advantage.
Okay. I got two. Nat 1 twice.
Ooh.
Oh no.
I got a
400 chance.
Lux, you have no idea how this is possible, but you do know that your friend is exceptionally clever.
The dice are telling the story.
Yeah. She's gonna repeat. Don't say anything.
You get a non-vocalized wink.
Winky face.
Thank you. Keep if you feel anything I don't for some reason, just tell me in my head or whatever. Alright, I told you not to respond. I know you're listening though, so okay. Okay. Everything is going to be fine.
Do you let the tapping piece of glass in?
Yes.
Okay, it flits into the room. It's quite small, about the size of your hand, but as it goes into this small opening in the cockpit window, it begins to flip and unfold and become maybe not like a full-length mirror, but it's about a 3 by 3 foot square, and it is like perfectly flat and incredibly shiny, almost chrome. And it floats there, angling towards you, towards your vision. And there is like a moment where this pane shines brightly, like a whooshing, and as the light comes down, you see in the reflection the face of your friend Sin. She is in a dark environment, it looks kind of strange, like kind of reflected on this highly shiny chrome surface. But she's like it almost looks like she's maybe in a closet somewhere, not her usual like workstation filled with all kind of manner of tools and projects that she's working on. It looks someplace quiet, and she goes, and the first thing that you note is, instead of speaking to you with her usual gusto and thunderous voice, her voice is quiet, and but with as much gusto as normal, she goes, "Oh, Lux, you're alive."
Yeah. Yes. Where are you?
I'm in a private space in the penumbra. We can't talk long, but I had to make sure that you were alive still. I didn't believe what they had said.
Who said? What did they say?
I don't know. I had heard something disturbing in the mess about you being dead, or are you going to be dead, or something about funeral rites?
What? No,
I don't know. It's gotten weird since you haven't been here for so long. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Wait. Who told you I was dead?
I don't know who said it. It was just I overheard it while I was walking in the mess hall just past. It was some of the higher ups table. I'm not sure who, but you know the ones like you.
Like me?
The assassins. They were just talking. It almost seemed like a joke. I don't know. It scared me, and so I know it's against protocol, but I had to find out.
Ugh. Was it like what they usually? I'm guessing it's not like what they usually do.
It was like they knew that the funeral rites were going to happen.
What?
I don't know. They were like talking about having a grave picked out, or a tree.
Fuck.
But you're okay, right?
Yeah.
She looks like visibly relieved. You see like a big breath go out from her. And you see like maybe like even like a few tears like streak down her face as she looks just so relieved that you are alive.
Don't cry. Have you heard anything from Ira?
No, I was scared to talk. I was scared to talk to her. I don't know. Things have been weird since you've been gone. Ira's different now. I don't know. I was scared to send the frack to you, but I'm glad I was able to find you.
Yeah, me too. She's sending me on I'm heading toward a Sharan outpost. That's what Ira wanted me to do.
I think when you say that to her, she goes like maybe a little pale, and you see like the color drain from her face, and she says, "No, That can't be right. They would never send a single individual to take out a whole outpost. That's a suicide mission. There must be some mistake. There must be somebody there to back you up, right?
No. No. You're right.
Sin says, Lux, I'm scared. I don't know if you should go through with this mission.
Ira talked to me differently. Last time I spoke with her. Talked down to me. Do you think they're trying to kill me?
I don't know anymore. Things have been different. I don't know. The era has been different. The situation has changed, and I don't know if I think it's for the better. I'm concerned. I have to go. They'll suspect me. They'll suspect something's off if I'm gone for too long. If I'll try to reach back out to you with another holofract if I can.
Okay, yeah. Do what you need to do. Thank you.
Stay safe, and the holofract shatters into dust.
Ugh.
All right. We hard cut over to Kite, who is what Kite is asleep right now in their barracks. What does this look like in their little room?
So Kite's room is fairly bare bones in the ship. There's just a small twin-sized bed and like a little desk that's like covered in parchment and ink that's like super well organized. Like all of his magic stuff is very well organized. And then there's like a pile of like clothes and his pack somewhere in like a corner. And then he's got like a little stuffed like plushie or something that's in his bed with him. That's like really the only sign of like a particular person living here, other than, you know, like the parchment doesn't have any of his name or information on it. It's all his arcane studies. So otherwise it just looks like a very bare bones, like almost like dormitory room.
Absolutely. Would we say that maybe even the stuffed animal is almost a small like mousy like figure with long like mustachy bristles?
Yeah. I'd
Hell
say
yeah.
so.
I love it.
Little stuffed mouse.
Beautiful. So Kite is curled up in their bed with their stuffed little mouse, and Kite is in deep dreams. Kite, you are back on the Guppy farm, or the Guppy ranch, rather. It's like hot, like kind of spring morning, or like it feels like a hot summer morning, and you are riding a horse-sized doldrum through like the thickets and the overgrowth. You are riding so fast and free. You are riding faster than you ever remember riding before, and you are soaring with the wind whippling through your fur. And what is Kite feeling in this moment as he's riding doldrum?
I think Kite is feeling. I think there's a definite like kind of youthful, I'm having the time of my life energy, like a kid who's maybe like gotten to drive a car by themselves for the first time. But then I think underneath it there's like this kind of strange feeling that, you know, you get sometimes in dreams where you're like, I know this can't be happening. Where he's like, this isn't real. This isn't a thing that's ever happened, that can happen. So it's like kind of like a weird like underlying feeling of like, he doesn't know it's a dream, but he definitely knows like something is off.
Absolutely. And much like in a dream, as that underlying feeling, as you begin to realize and think of that underlying feeling, the dream shifts, and you are still riding Doldrum, but you have ridden Doldrum at like perilously close to a cliff edge. And as your vision shifts, like kind of blurry, very dreamlike, you see the form of your brother just erupt in front of Doldrum, and Doldrum connects with him, and all three of you go tumbling off the side of the cliff, and you are all falling in this moment, and you are into an empty void. You are just falling into blackness, and as you are falling, you hear a voice from behind you. You see your mentor. You see Kepler standing there. What do you think he says to you in this moment?
I think if Kepler was looking down on Kite falling, he would look down and say, "You know how to do this. You know how to save yourself. Make the choice. It's right there."
Amazing. And what does Kite do next?
I think Kite would use Chronal Shift to essentially using the mechanics of Chronal Shift, essentially the check, the dexterity check that he failed trying to dodge away from his brother. I think he would kind of use Chronal Shift to kind of back himself back up onto the mountain, essentially putting his body back in the period of time before he fell. But obviously Chrono Shift only works on a single creature, so he's only able to do this to himself.
Absolutely. I think in this dream, it happens to both you and Doldrum. You both reverse up together to the cliff's edge.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Beautiful. And you come, instead of tumbling off, you come to a skittering, a screeching stop as you, as Doldrum rears back, even though they're floating like a good few feet off of the ground. And you look down at this void, and you see your brother fall into darkness, and you hear the voice of Kepler say, "Well done."
And Kite's just kind of panting, brush with death, near-death experience kind of feeling. And he looks back towards wherever Kepler was, regardless of whether or not he's still there, and he's like, What just happened?
As you turn your head, he is gone. He is not in that position anymore. It's like he has disappeared out of your blind spot.
I think Kite starts to kind of assess the situation and is trying to understand what's happening in the moment. But he's in a dream, so it's not going logically for him in any way. But he's just oh boy, my brother fell. Oh boy, and panicking a little bit.
On the surface level, on the conscious real world, we see Kite twisted up in his sheets, desperately clinging to the small mousy figure. The mousy plushie. Excellent. Dom, apologies, Cal. You are in deep trance in this moment. Not a dream state per se, but you are tapping into your lived experience, the lived experience of your ancestors, the greater astral elf consciousness that exists out there, in the space between thought and reality. And you are in this moment. I feel like, is Cal doing anything special with the egg?
I think as he sits down to go into his trance, he's sitting in his room. He sits on the floor, and as he usually does, he takes the egg out of his pack, uh, but he also has the cylinder with the bullet uh, laid out in front of him. Uh, and like as he's entering into his trance, he's kind of like picking each of them up with his psionic energy and just kind of like moving them about him uh as like a practice of like, practicing control over his psionics.
Excellent. I love that. So yeah, while you are mid meditation, your eyes shut, these objects almost like gently orbiting about you, uh, almost as if to aid your meditation. I feel like it's it's both a simple trait, like almost like those like meditation balls that you can like juggle with your hand, right? Like
Hmm.
something simple to focus on that is, well, simple using psionic powers, right? Um, but is also kind of meditative and relaxing. And so as you are kind of doing this trance in this way, you feel the mental presence of the egg reach out to you and begin to share another vision with you. It shows almost as if like a dog wagging its tail, or like or something of that nature. You see just ultimate excitement and eagerness, the feeling of being on a long journey and then being on the last car ride home, car ride before you are home finally. And as you feel that sense in the vision of arriving home, you the vision shifts to that form of the dead god that you've seen before, and you see that it looks like it has had development done on it. You see that there are chunks that are missing, pieces that have like had extra buildings and other things like docks crafted onto them. You also see that there is lots of ships going to and fro this, and at least at first they look like ships. And you realize that while they initially go to and fro, these kind of strange shapes, which you realize are star lancers, are flowing to and fro this dead god. And there is a moment where you fly in this vision, and you see a mass of star lancers, all almost like eagerly awaiting that, almost in the same boat, eagerly awaiting that car ride home to be over and to be arrived.
um as he witnesses this, uh how like kind of feeling detached from himself, in a way that you kind of do like when you meditate, uh he feels like there's moisture on his cheeks, um but as far as he knows, there's nothing wet around him. And if we pull out and like we physically see him in his room, uh there are tears forming in his eyes and starting to stream down his face, uh because he's so close and they're waiting. But also he remembers what happened just earlier today when he decided to just be that little bit of selfish and tell Kite about this, and how it all almost went away so quickly. and he feels a pang of guilt because he harbors just for a moment the thought that maybe not completing this journey would be the best for everybody involved.
I think as you are thinking that thought, your eyes closed, you hear the sound of the cylinder spinning in a revolver.
He hears this very familiar sound to him, and he keys in on it.
This sound continues to happen. The cylinder continues to spin, and you realize that the sound is originating from something that has come into orbit around you, has joined the Onyx Cancro cylinder and the egg and the bullet.
He's going to open his eyes to see.
You see your gun floating in orbit around you, which now has the cylinder affixed to it. The gun opens. The bullet slides into the chamber. It closes, and it drops in front of you, almost as if waiting to be lifted.
He's reticent to reach out a hand. He doesn't understand what this is. He doesn't remember. He can't remember. And he doesn't know what this could cause. And he's racking his brain, trying to find any answer. And I don't know if one comes to him. But his hand unconsciously starts reaching for his gun.
As your fingers make contact with the hilt of the gun, you feel a zap of static electricity jolt between you.
Or once again, he lets out a hiss of pain, feels the static like at the base of his brain, but he's starting to become accustomed to it. He accepts it, as he tries to like decipher what may be in the lines of all the mess and noise that is suddenly entering his brain.
Beautiful. I love that. With like this pensive thought on Cal's face, we kind of zoom out of his bedroom as he is looking down at his newly modified revolver. And we push on over into Lance's room. I assume we see Lance hard at work on a whiteboard. Oh, you may be muted, Werewolf.
Apologies. I think that that's a fair assumption. I think he's very tired, but part of that was like, I think it was a lie when he first came up with the idea, like, oh, I need to go work on a formula. And then the more he thought about it, he was like, actually, I do have some thoughts. And he's just going to like start writing, but it's like very messy and slow, and he is tired.
Absolutely. I think you are almost so distracted that you don't even pick it up at first, that you see when you see a communique coming in through Lady.
Oh, Lady, could you show me the message, please?
Lady complies happily. She begins to, chirp and output the information, and you see it is basically a standard data packet, right? Like this is just almost like the monthly digest that happens from the Mandelbrot set, where it's just like, hey, here's what everybody is kind of doing and going on, and we just still don't have a great way of actually getting this information out to people, but we we can use our familiars to share it with us at least. So here we are. But something is off to you. Go ahead and make either an Arcana check or an investigation check.
And can I do that with Lady's help?
Sure, yeah. Lady is definitely she's giving you the message, but she's also like got enough agency to help. Absolutely.
That's going to be a 25.
Okay. So with a 25, it is really curious to you. You start to pick up on a pattern in the data. And before you know it, you find that there is not only a pattern, but there is a message that has been encoded into this data. The message is a pretty short, clipped message to you.
I'm kind of imagining it starts with a call sign. Is there like one that I would recognize?
There is one, but it's not one that you recognize. This is a call sign from an individual known as Polaris.
Polaris. Okay. Yeah, I'll start to, I guess, decode the message.
Yeah, and you find that this message is like very heavily decoded, or very heavily encoded, rather.
Yeah.
As you would expect from a league of basically, like, people who are entirely about information and information dissemination and stuff. They also are real into code cracking. And so this is a secure code that you feel like maybe you even might have missed this. Like if you had not been having Lady's help on this. It's a pretty complex thing. So it takes you a good hour or so to decode, but after you've done so, you find it is a short clipped message from Polaris. Looking for one a little. It says that they believe there to be a corruption element within the set that may reach to the top, and Perler rather, was unhappy with the way that things were going at the set, hence his absence. Polaris is looking into things on the inside, but they believe that the trial that you were a part of to be indicative of greater things happening. That's about it.
Looking for that. So when the message says trial, is that the having to, like, the sort of court hearing I had, or like the trial of going and getting a new energy source?
That it is referring to the disciplinary hearing.
Okay. Would I be able to tap something back somehow?
Yeah, definitely.
Or is that just kind of a, like, I guess it's being sent out as like a newsletter, so I don't know.
I think that while they don't give you a direct way to contact them, they do give you like a secondary source, where basically like old spycraft stuff. Like they tell you to post a classifieds, a very silly classifieds ad in order to be able to in the daily or in the monthly newspaper to be like, I get what you're saying.
Sure. Okay. Let's see. I think that the message is just like short and sweet, like, but I think his call sign is, I I think his call sign is Merlin. I just think that that's what
Yeah.
he would have chosen. But it's like Merlin, message received, waiting on your lead. And I think he's like kind of that's the message, and he starts to build it out into whatever this kind of cipher is. And it's a it's going to be a like wanted ad for offering services as like a dog walker, who it's all zero grav dog walking, so it's like great for exercise but great on the joints, and like something like that, just like a bizarre service that I might get a couple of really weird rich people who respond, and that's funny to me because I'd want to meet them anyway. So I think that's what I'll go with.
I love that. Amazing. All right, perfect. Other than that, though, oh, excellent. So we see this scene of Lance typing out this little classified and sending it on off. Beautiful. Other than that, though, the rest of the trip passes uneventfully. If people want to take the full benefit of that long rest, feel free to do so. Does anybody want to have any other little scenes as we are approaching the outpost?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're just going to choose violence on all of us like that and be like, all right, so anybody else want to do something?
I'm smiling very largely right now.
This is really fucking good.
It's really great.